Before you buy anything in Dubai, you need to know this. Not every developer is created equal. I've seen investors lose hundreds of thousands of dirhams just because they trusted the wrong name. I'm Tahir Majid here from Prime Capital Dubai. We manage property portfolios for serious investors, and over the years, we've tracked which developers actually perform and which ones just talk a good game. So in this video, I'm sharing the exact criteria we use to evaluate developers before recommending them to our investors, the developers we actually trust with our clients' money right now, and the warning signs that tell us to walk away no matter how good the brochure looks. Section 1. The criteria behind the ranking. Before we get to names, I need to break down how we actually evaluate developers. What most people get wrong is investors choose developers based on feelings, social media hype, or whatever their agent is pushing that month. At Prime Capital, we continuously track patterns across our portfolio, handover delays, snagging issues, rental performances, resale liquidity, and how different developers communicate when things go wrong. Over time, these patterns become very obvious and much more reliable than any "my friend said that this developer is bad" story. Now let me explain you. We evaluate developers on a few core factors: delivery track record, construction quality, 5 years plus, community and facility management, transparency and the documentation process, and investor performance in both hot and cooler markets. No developer will be perfect in every column, but the pattern across all of them is what separates the ones we recommend from the ones we don't. Now here's my advice. Create your own mini scorecard with those headings. Next time you're pitched a project, fill in what you can find. If you can't fill in most boxes, that's a yellow flag regardless of how exciting the brochure looks. Now, I've spent hundreds of hours studying what actually holds up in Dubai across different market conditions, and I compiled everything into a 2026 investor strategy kit. It breaks down the areas, the structure, and the filters serious investors use before buying anything. Grab it from the link in the description. Now let's get into what I'm starting with: the warning signs we watch for, then move into the developers we actually back with our clients' capital. What most people get wrong: investors often only realize something is wrong with the developer after the damage is done. They don't realize there are red flags visible much earlier if you know what to look for. Common warning signs include very aggressive marketing with huge promises and little track record, extremely unusual payment plans that seem too good to be true, very little transparent information on previous projects, or a pattern of complaints from owners and tenants you can find with basic online research. Developers showing these patterns are where risk is disproportionately high compared to potential upside. They might be undercapitalized, inexperienced, or have a history of poor execution. In a more mature 2026 market, you don't need to play in this end of the pool to get good returns. We won't name names here because our job isn't to thrash competitors. Our job is to give you the tools so you can evaluate anyone yourself. So here's my advice. Make a personal rule. If you can't clearly verify a developer's delivery track record and see at least a few completed projects with acceptable quality, you pass, no matter how good or how attractive the payment plan looks. Now let's talk about the middle ground. Developers that work under the right conditions. What most people get wrong: investors either completely ignore mid-tier developers or they treat them like guaranteed winners once they fall in love with a brochure. They don't recognize that some developers mean fine with the right conditions rather than safe in all conditions. Some developers have delivered many projects but with mixed results. Some handovers on time, some delayed, some buildings aging well, others with recurring snag issues. We regularly see investors make money with these developers when they buy at a discount in the right area and lose money when they pay a premium purely on marketing. Let me explain you this. These developers can work for investors who have a strong stomach and very price sensitive. At the very right entry price, in a location with clear demand drivers, they can give you better yield than overpricing for a premium name. At the wrong price or location, the weaker parts of the execution show up and hit your returns. Some can turn your investment into a part-time job with constant management headache. So here's my advice. If you're considering a developer that isn't on our recommended list, push harder on due diligence. Speak to existing owners, visit older projects, and build in a bigger margin of safety on your entry price. And this category should never be your first investment. Section 4. The developers we back with our clients' capital. What most people get wrong: Many investors think the best developer means most luxurious or most famous, and others think if a developer doesn't have the biggest name, they are not worth considering, missing out on excellent operators that are extremely solid. Now, let me give you an example. There are a lot of very good developers in this market who do not go out painting the town red. Probably you must have not heard their names. But when you do some due diligence and you see what they have delivered, when you actually go to these properties and you see the kind of properties they delivered and you see the kind of rental yields people are making on that or the kind of capital appreciation they have got on it, it's phenomenal. That's why I always tell people that there are certain hidden gems in this market and you do not need to go with a developer who has this huge marketing budget where they are, going all around the world and doing massive marketing campaigns, getting, some movie stars to collaborate just to gain visibility. Our top recommended developers are established names that have delivered entire master communities across multiple market cycles. Their projects tend to have better maintained common areas, more professional facility management, and tenants who actively search for their communities by name. That supports both occupancy and resale. Below that, we have a second group of developers we also recommend, but with a few caveats. They may be more newer to the market, more specialized, or still proving their ability to manage large-scale developments over 10 plus years. For investors who are more selective, this group can be a sweet spot between safety and upside. So here's my advice. If you're a first-time or a remote investor, prioritize our top recommended developers for at least your first deal. The lower headache and stronger exit liquidity often more than compensate over a 5 to 10 year horizon. For the second group, dig deeper, project by project, and stick to their strongest communities. Now, it's one thing to understand which developers are safer on paper. It's another thing entirely to actually structure everything properly for your specific situation. That's exactly what I do with investors one-to-one. We look at your capital, your timelines, your risk tolerance, and then we pick the right developers, areas, and structures for you specifically. If you're serious about investing in Dubai and want a professional in your corner instead of figuring it out through trial and error, use the link below to connect with me and my team. But that's only half the equation. The other half is knowing exactly what you do step by step. If you are starting fresh in 2026 with a certain budget, certain goals, and this developer map in your back pocket, in the next video, I'm going to walk you through precisely that. Click through the video now and I'll see you there.